In some ways, what we're doing is state-of-the-art, but also very simple.
So the point of a vaccine, the way I think about it, is like a program for the immune system. The more finesse that you have in terms of your design of that program, the better the vaccine. When the sequence of the virus was first published, people were able to look at that sequence and then target the part of it that encodes the spike protein that allows the virus to get into the cells, and then use that to design their vaccine. What's different about the vaccine that's been developed at Imperial is that it is completely synthetic.
Our approach is different because we're using genetic material. So we've taken the code for just the surface protein of the virus and use that as a genetic vaccine. It's what we call RNA, and we take that small instruction set and put it inside a fat droplet, or lots of fat droplets, and inject it into the muscle. And when it's taken up into those muscle cells, it essentially instructs those cells just to make that surface protein.
This is quite different from what's normally done. So if you think about flu vaccine, normally you would have the protein actually being injected, and then the body recognises that. Whereas in this case, actually the cells are helping to make it themselves.
And because it's not you, it's foreign, you make antibodies against that protein, which we predict would be protective for natural exposure.
This is the first time that this has been done in this way.
There's nothing of the virus in there, it's just genetic code. It can't produce a whole virus, so it's tricking your immune system to think it's seen the whole virus, but it's just seeing that surface protein.
If we show it works, it's a game changer.
If any of these vaccines are shown to work, then everybody's going to want it. And so we have to think in advance how we can manufacture for the whole of the UK, for the whole of the world.
The point is that you need to vaccinate enough people that you get herd immunity so that we're not seeing breakthrough cases.
One of the real advantages is that we only use a very tiny dose, and that means in a 1 litre volume we can make the equivalent of 2 million doses of the vaccine. So you can imagine a 1 litre bottle of lemonade that will contain 2 million doses. Now, to make that same amount of vaccine with a conventional approach, you might need 10,000 litres.
It's not enough to show that it works in a lab. It's not enough to show that it treats a mouse. You need to show that it treats a human, and the only way you can do that is an experiment in people. And that's what we mean by clinical research.
It might be in here, let me just see, because this one here at the bottom says no.
So we're really excited that it's going into our first participant, because we've been working for this since January.
Your average vaccine study maybe takes several months, possibly half a year to prepare for, whereas these studies, because they are so urgent, we go from 0 to 100 in weeks to maybe a month or so. So it's very, very different in terms of preparation.
Okay, so as you know, this trial is to test whether the new COVID vaccine is effective.
We first will immunise a single individual, check for a few days that it's safe, there's no side effects. Then we'll go into 3 individuals, and we'll slowly increase the number of people that have the vaccine as we gain more and more confidence in its safety.
We're asking, is it safe, but we're also asking about reactogenicity, okay? And that's the technical term for side effects from a vaccine. To some extent, you want some side effects from a vaccine because the vaccine works it mimics infection. And so if you're getting some signs of feeling like you've got an infection, you don't, but feeling like you do, then that tells you your immune system is working, it's recognising the vaccine, and it's being programmed, it's understanding the vaccine. Getting the career
Yeah, so he said, I'm sure that, you know.
And then the next phase will be to do a large efficacy trial. And that's where we test whether the vaccine works. So half of the participants will have a placebo vaccine and half will have the active vaccine, and we'll be looking to see if there are fewer numbers of infection, hopefully no infection, in the group that gets the active vaccine. And that'll be about 6,000 participants.
You get an emergency card from us as well, so if it's caused out of hours, then...
I'm optimistic. You know, I think science and medicine have tackled many problems.
I think it's absolutely vital, and before the COVID-19 vaccines were talked about, of course we've had all this with previous vaccines. So I'm not a vaccinologist, I'm a pharmacologist, but I'm happy to admit that the vaccinologists have done more for human health than pharmacology will ever do.
So we have to plan for success, even though we don't know right now whether this vaccine will actually work. So one of the things that we're doing to plan for success, which I think is quite unique, is we've set up a social enterprise. And a social enterprise is there to make the vaccine available and available at an affordable price across the world. It will generate a very modest revenue in order to make sure that we can keep providing the vaccine for years to come. But it's not going to be marketed as a high-value product.